Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, humanity. It's November 16th, 2020, and once again, it's our favorite time of the week. At least it's ours. Don't know if it's yours, but it's Mondays with Bev and Paul. Hey,
It must be ours.
it better be ours after 4 years.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, my name's Paul.
And hey, my name's Bev. Good
It
morning.
certainly is, Ollie. All right, we have another great show today. This show is called "What is IFBM?" That's IFBM.
Yeah,
IFBM.
right. We've been called worse.
Yeah. All right, and this show was inspired by the rest of the letter that we read to you from Damla, our certified practitioner in Istanbul, Turkey. And we wanted to read it so we could start off the show that way. She goes, during the corona days, we have enough time to live a slower life. We have time to think about our thinking, think about our choices. We are taking new steps and new directions about how to live our lives. People are getting more and more interested about awareness, spirituality, knowing themselves, knowing their capacity, alternative and holistic healing techniques, etc. So this is a big time for IFBM. It is time for IFBM to be the pioneer for all the members of the BioTouch family. Now we are over boundaries, so it is a good opportunity to make more online meetings, seminars, workshops, PR strategies, and some ads will also be supported. IFBM is the roof under where all the members gather. I like that one. With a
Mhm.
collective collaboration, BioTouch can reach more people all over the world. There's a bridge between biotouch and science and medicine. By underlying this, IFBM is opening new fields for all the members. I feel so lucky to experience biotouch and to become part of this family. I believe biotouch will be just like a butterfly effect, and it changes all one day.
Wow. That's lovely.
Yeah, yeah.
Just lovely.
So IFBM actually is, what do they call it? An acronym
Yes, that's an
for
acronym.
International Foundation of Biomagnetics.
Yes.
Now, what the heck is that?
Yeah, go ahead and tell
Biomagnetics.
us.
Yeah. So that is the name of the organization, the nonprofit tax exempt organization that was created way back in 1989 when we used to call the technique biomagnetic touch healing. But we just kept this corporate name and we just took it to IFBM. People always say, "Well, what does that mean?" And it's sort of like, well, when you hear IBM or AT&T, do you ever ask what does that mean?
Right.
so, so we just use IFBM as our corporate name. And we wanted to share with you, first of all, why we even set up a nonprofit organization. And I remember back when we were first beginning the organization in 1989, and it was just this technique we were doing out of Norman and Carol's house. We had a lawyer come in. He was a local lawyer and judge in the Mancos Cortez area. He said, you really need to formalize the presentation of this healing technique. And you really need to create what's called a nonprofit organization in the state of Colorado. So we did. We set up our articles of incorporation. We called it International Foundation of Biomagnetics. And then shortly after that, we had a CPA show up, and he said, well, now we need to make this tax exempt. And if you've ever tried to get a tax exempt status from the IRS, it can take sometimes years, lots of questions back and forth. Well, this fellow actually got our tax exempt status within 90 days. 90 days. That was like amazing. And then we actually went to Hawaii and we got another tax exempt status for a different corporate entity in Hawaii. And that we got within, I think, 2 months. Then what we did is we applied for a group exemption letter. So we can open centers or places anywhere in the country and they'll all be tax exempt. Tax exempt means that any contributions made to us are guaranteed by the IRS to be tax deductible. And it's really quite an honor to get that exemption. And we also want people to know nonprofit does not mean you don't make a profit. People are under that,
Right.
thing. Oh, well, you're making a profit. Well, first of all, we don't have any paid staff on our organization, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But nonprofit organization only means that the profits cannot be used for an individual purpose. It just means all of the money needs to go back into creating the organization so it can grow. Now, many people use nonprofit statuses. I mean, they're big corporate nonprofit status where they pay uh, their CEOs hundreds of thousands of dollars. But we are trying to blaze the trail of a different kind of nonprofit organization that has and still is being run all by a volunteer group of people. So, what we'd like to do, and every nonprofit, and including this one, has a board of directors. And Bev is our president of that board. So, tell us about the organization and its purpose of why we continue here.
Well, and I would like to start by saying and reminding all of us that this foundation is an international educational foundation. It was set up for one purpose, to hold the integrity of and teach the technique called biotouch. And, as Paul has reminded all of us, the way that we are still teaching this through classroom, now virtually, it's the same as it was in the very first class. Nothing has changed. This is really, for me, as a member of this organization, an amazing gift, because we're really holding this integrity for everyone to be able to learn it and then share it. And we have to hold that. So, one of the things that comes from all of this is it encourages what we call self-awareness, that everybody can learn it, use it, and those changes that Damla was talking about opens us up to taking responsibility. So there's many layers to this organization, but I will say it's all being held in the heart. I think I've often thought in my work with this amazing group of people, our board, that this particular nonprofit organization is a prototype of what's possible in nonprofits. Because Paul, we know that that way of doing business through nonprofits, it's really growing in the world.
Right.
It's part of what's going to happen in our consciousness as doing business internationally, nationally, with groups of people gathering. So can I just go ahead now and read our
Yeah, let me show it while
mission
you read it. Yep.
and vision? Yes. So here is our mission statement: is to teach BioTouch as a unique, natural approach to alleviate pain and stress and support good health through all stages of life. So this is a for generations. This is an ongoing, has been, and will be. That's our mission. And our vision statement: our vision is to encourage all people to take responsibility for their own health care, empower them to assist others, and create a community of people worldwide dedicated to service, self-awareness, and recognizing the equality of all humanity, thus forming a chain which shall go on indefinitely. Well, that's a statement of love, isn't it?
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, when you guys came up with that back in the day, 30 something years ago, it was like, this is what's happening in our world. This is what we're all working towards. This whole vision statement is where humanity wants to really be: connected, sharing, taking responsibility, self-aware, all of that. One lovely, wonderful group of humanity working together. So this board of directors really takes that whole, work and service seriously.
Yeah, and it's amazing how many different board members there have been over the decades that
Yeah.
we've had this organization, and each group that's come in has sort of lit the torch and then passed it on to the next one. The transition
It's
has been perfect.
evolving.
Yeah, and it's been perfect, and
Yeah.
everybody has shown up when they were needed with their particular talents. And we've even had periods of time where we've had international representatives on the
Mhm.
board.
Yeah.
So this chain that shall go on indefinitely. But yeah, why don't we share who those board members are right now that are
Well,
serving? And I think the
let's,
key here is it is a service. Again, nobody in this organization is being paid.
right.
And so here, let's show you and I are up there.
Okay. We know who we are.
And you are the president.
I am the president. So we have Anne Lemley. She is our vice president. We have Kai Cox, our secretary. Paul Bucky is our treasurer and executive director. Michelle Cardenas. Michelle is our new membership coordinator. Paula Taylor. We call her our scribe. She's a great author. And then our newest member, I'm so happy to announce Eileen Webster. And Eileen is amazing with PR work. So just, I'm just so honored to be working with this group of people. We're a small board, but boy, we get stuff done.
Yeah, they're a powerful group of talented,
Yeah,
creative, and interestingly, they all have their own business
I
too,
know.
and that's what's interesting too. And I'll tell you, I feel very honored to be with such powerful women, and to just let the feminine principle take over and move this show forward is
Yeah, you're
really
good at that, Paul.
it's time. So, and
Yeah.
you're doing just a wonderful job. I know all of our meetings too. It's interesting. So one of the prototypes of nonprofits, I remember reading somewhere that a lot of board of directors were doing meditations before their meeting, trying to bring the group together. And we do that every time we meet. We meet once a month, and we do just the greeting and a couple of points of biotouch. And even virtually, we'll just sort of touch the screen,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then there's always a discussion about something, a word or a philosophical idea, or and how that applies to biotouch. How are we taking our personal life and helping it, our experience in life, in helping the board grow, in passing on, as you said, a greater depth of life and purpose that is represented by that touch. But for such a simple technique, we have a huge uh, underlying corporate structure and paperwork and
We have done our homework, haven't we, over the last couple years, and in saying that, people like Domla, who and there's two other women that work with her, three amazing women, I must say. Um, this foundation is able on an international level to give everybody material, opportunities to grow and evolve in their own work with BioTouch and guidelines. And, I'm just moving forward as we're expanding, working with those and the board stepping up and really taking responsibility for being the caregivers of the education and setting the whole prototypes and protocols for certified practitioners around the world, and the support that we are able to give them. I'm just, this organization is awesome. I
Yeah.
just,
we
yeah.
we had a fellow. He was a big corporate man for years, decades. He used to do corporate seminars and teaching corporations how to work together. He was always blown away. He said, at something like, this is the most organized organization he'd ever seen. He said, for something that shows itself as so simple and so fluid, the corporate structure is incredible here. And he was always amazed too at the classes. He said what used to take him at least a day and a half to 2 days to get people in the corporate world to come together and feel comfortable with one another. He says in your classes, with this setup that you have, it doesn't take but the first hour and a half, and people are already together. They're already feeling camaraderie and things like that. So,
Well, I'm going to say it again. The reason is because of the heart that's behind this whole organization. Every single one of us. BioTouch is love, love is BioTouch. We carry that with us in all aspects, whether you are a practitioner on the staff, whether you're sitting on the board, whether you're a certified practitioner in Turkey. That theme, that truth that all is love is carried forward. And that's what's holding this, the glue that's holding this whole organization together. And that's why
yeah,
it's so magical. That's why it works.
magical.
And
That's it.
without a lot of stuff.
Yeah, no,
Pretty
no stuff,
simple.
no opinion. We've also learned that if there's conflicts in the organization, we learn to listen. We learn to say we're sorry. We learn to forgive. We learn because there's something more important than our personal belief systems, because we all have them. We all have egos.
Right.
Because what we're coming around is biotouch, and that has no distinction and difference. That crosses all barriers, and that's why we're trying to teach this technique. You can also help support this organization in a very simple way by just becoming a member. That $18 is just sort of a symbol of support, and it helps financially the foundation. Especially if we could get hundreds of people supporting it that way. And that $18, you can go on our website, justtouch.com, and become a member. We'll actually send you the whole training ebook too. So,
Yep.
our main goal in the organization and everything that we do is to make sure that we teach it. And so we like to take a little time on these Monday shows to always teach you a set of points. And today we're going to teach you the eye set. So let's go to that.
The ear set may be used for any conditions affecting the ears, including problems with balance and equilibrium. Step 1. On one side of the head, hold at X, which is just in front of the flap at the opening of the ear. On the opposite side of the head, touch points 1 and 2. Point 1 is at the indentation in the bone behind the ear, about 1/3 of the way down from the top of the ear. Adjust the fingers to be snug against the skull. Point 2 is a small indentation at the bottom of the ear directly behind the jawbone. Again, adjust the fingers so they are snug against the ear. Now find hold point X on the other side of the head, and in crossfire touch point 1, the indentation in the bone behind the ear, about 1/3 of the way down from the top of the ear. Then touch point 2, the small indentation at the bottom of the ear directly behind the jawbone. Finally, for step 2, in matching fire, touch points 1 and 1, 2 and 2, X and X.
There you go. Simple. Mother-daughter team. Bring it into
Yep.
your family.
Yes.
Create your own nonprofit corporate structure right at home.
It's easy.
Yeah, help us create that chain that will go on indefinitely.
Yeah, be a part of that, huh?
Yes. So you can come in tomorrow if you'd like to learn it. We're doing a virtual training tomorrow, and our health condition workshop is December 10th. It's going to be on back problems with our lovely Dr. Tiffany Hodges, PT, physical therapist.
Yep.
So, okay. Anything else? Thank you. Thank you, Bev. Thank you for
Thank you, Paul.
leading this organization to where it is today. And we hope you will all join us in passing on the wonders of this foundation and of the technique called BioTouch Healing. So,
Yes.
we'll see you all next week. Yeah. And this song is about down on Pima Street. And just this week, we've moved our corporate offices, which used to be in another building, into the Tucson Center. And so we are just really going to explode in this coming year, getting this on our global internet virtual trainings and really get people involved so that everybody can learn BioTouch.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. All right. See you all next week.
Have a great week, everyone.
If pain has got you down and you live in town, take a trip down to Pima Street. The people down there are people who care. They will get you back on your feet. Put love into action. Put love into action. If you ever want to have any real satisfaction, choose love while you still can. Don't even try to understand. But healing grace in your own hands. Put love into action.